final thoughts on this from both of you about this administration, the Biden administration, especially considering what happened on January 6th. I'm sure, Eric, you got $1 for every insurrectionist that showed up to be like, I was right. Like, that must have been an interesting day for you. But how do you see this administration taking that up? Are they taking white nationalism seriously? And should they be treating this like the terrorist threat that they treat Muslims, with, which in my opinion, I'm like, well, the war on terror was fucking ridiculous. COINTELPRO's bad. Like the FBI going after these people isn't always good. But again, that's not necessarily what the FBI was intended to do. I don't know. Just, thoughts from both.
I mean, what are they going to do? It's them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, if you were out there, that like the feds are the ones who were out there doing the most violence. They were the ones who pushed this the hardest. And yes, Biden's in power now, but did he fire everybody? No. They're still there. It's still the same military, still the same DHS, still the same people. Those same people in the DHS that worked there then, who we tracked last year, are still working there now. Okay, we're still tracking them. Yeah. So we know who these people are. They're still here. It's the same people that greenlit the same stuff. They're still in the city. They're still in the feds. They're still in the state. So there's not going to be a response from Biden, because Biden's response is, oh, that wasn't me. That was Trump. Yeah. So this is a new America now. We're going. I don't even know his slogan. He's so unpopular. But what is this? Corn pop? I don't know what his slogan is. But it's like
it should be. It should be corn pop.
It's like what's he gonna do? He has to say, well, if all things are equal, and that's like the greatest thing. Like America, that's like America's greatest sinkhole. If all things are equal, but they're not. Right. So we say, oh yeah, we have to look at the left too. No, we don't. All things aren't equal. So we really don't have to. We have to blame some black people too. There are a lot of them in poverty. It's not our fault, bro. I'm like, fuck all that, bro. Like for real. Like to me, that's like a bunch of like, that's a bunch of like, oh, we have to appease the white guy. No, we don't. Yeah. Ted Wheeler, Joe Biden, that dude in California, the senator, not the mayor or the governor. I don't really like him either, but don't recall him.
Devin Nunes.
No, all of them. The really old one. The really old is Schumer?
Dianne Feinstein.
Dianne, the same person. Feinstein, Schumer, same person.
Feinstein.
Yeah, exactly.
They are the same person.
They're the same person.
It's like that photo where you're like, is it an old woman or a young man? A young woman like that.
I often
Dianne
say like,
is the dress yellow or is it blue? Yeah. It's like it's Dianne Feinstein.
Cool. I feel like a Ted Wheeler is like a Chuck Schumer like 30 years ago. Yeah. Like I bet you they did the exact same shit. Like there's no way they didn't. Like, and that's the kind of people that always end up in charge, because they always get along with everybody enough, and they push just enough white supremacy to keep us in the same situation we're always in.
Yeah. Not to mention the number of former police officers and former military and current active military who were at the Capitol on January 6th.
I mean, we have a police activist group in Portland here, the IPAC, that was started by cops, and they're on it now. And it's like, well, this is supposed to be an activism group. It's like, oh, well, you guys are doing anti-cop stuff. I think this is a bad idea. I'm like, it's like, what? How can you do police accountability with the cops there? You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the way that it is in Portland. I'm sure it's the same way in the White House, because Portland is a microcosm of everything, in the U.S. That's just the way it is. Like, that's why I find it so fascinating here, because Portland is literally everything that happens in Portland happens on a national scale, like 2 or 3 years later. That's why the insurrections on January 6th, I was like, oh yeah, we've been doing that for years. Yeah. Oh yeah, paintball guns and shit. Yep. Like it's nothing new. Like we're so used to that. Like people have this shit in their trunk. I have vests in my trunk right now. Who's got vests in their trunk right now? I mean, that's like some real shit. Like that's just how we are, So the rest of the country's kind of just catching up, but like the shit's not getting better.
Yeah. Look, here's what we have to know. We are in a moment right now in Portland, Oregon, right, where great decisions will be made. And we can spend our time making fun of a mayor, right? We can spend our time trying to project what we want to think. But I think the real issue is why does this town only fucking have 3 people who ran for mayor? And what's wrong in this society, right? That you have 3 people who ran for mayor. And I want to be clear about something, right? It doesn't mean, right, that the status quo works. Everyone is telling you almost across the political spectrum that the status quo isn't working for them. And it doesn't matter whether it's perception or real, because I don't care if I perceive I'm about to stumble off this stage or I'm really stumbling off this stage. I'm going to respond in the same exact way, right? And so we have to understand everyone feels like they're falling right now. And when people fall or they feel like they're drowning, they take really extreme measures. And so, look, people say like, do you, Eric, I've seen you hashtag defund police, but why would you do that? And my sense is until we come up with an alternative solution that works, right? That is the solution that's on the table. And when you have law enforcement that allows the harassment, right, of people protesting on the streets of Portland, Oregon, right, when still too many people are going to sleep hungry, right, going to sleep without hope, right, we have to build a better society. So at the end of the day, right, here's what I think. I hope everyone in this audience gets really serious, right? And understand you may have wondered what you would have done in the midst of the 1960s civil rights movement. And the truth is you're gonna find out when you walk out of this podcast tonight, right? Exactly what you do after this is exactly what you would have done in 1968. So make it count, right? And don't just be a performer on the street, right? This is about building the society we say we want. And that only happens if we get into communities, and now I'm preaching again, right? But there is a difference, right? And I'm gonna give everybody a chance to boo me too, right? Because this is a message to my friends too. And we can have this conversation some other time. But we gotta get serious if we're talking about organizing and building community. That takes real investment. That's not driving 9 miles across town to put other people in chaos who don't even know what's happening, right? That's vanguardism. And vanguardism needs to be put to bed. What we need are real democracy builders, right? And that's what we saw with Black Lives Matters on the streets of Portland and across this country. And that's what we're gonna see with women, right? Who have understood that this entire backlash in this country has been about the hatred of women. Racism is about misogyny. Homophobia is about misogyny. Economic inequality is about misogyny. And this is our moment to get it right. So let's back up Texas and let's take care of our own community. This isn't one city fight. This is a fight for the country. And it's the society we say we want in this world. Okay, I'm done.
I just got a new bar
Good
though.
out there.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.